The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Once again this season, Qantas is proud to be flying Australia's cricketers as they take on the world. Hello everyone, welcome to the Unplayable Podcast. Yes, the men's T20 World Cup is underway and the Aussies, they're going to be in action very shortly. They take on Ireland on Wednesday, February 11. My name is Josh Schonafinger, joined now by Jack Paynter, who's over there in Sri Lanka at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. And Jack, how are things over there in the island nation?
It's pretty warm and hot and humid, so as you'd expect in Sri Lanka. But beautiful sunshine today here at the ground. A light training session for a couple of the Aussies, but things are going well, and it's been a fairly decent build-in for Australia too. They're the last of the 20 teams to kick off their campaign, which will be tomorrow night against Ireland.
We've got a big episode coming up for you as well. Josh Inglis is the special guest. He'll be up in just a few moments. Jack, you had a chat to him. We're also going to be talking about the best T20 World Cup performances of all time. So make sure you get in your nominations as well. Jack, you've spent a little bit of time in Sri Lanka leading into this first game. Where have you been and what have you been up to?
We have, Josh. My wife came over with me before the tournament kicked off, and we had a great time. It's a beautiful country, like beautiful people, plenty to see as well. Lots of diversity. We went down south and saw the beaches, and then went across and saw some elephants at the national park and did a safari there, and then back up to the hills and did some hiking around as well. So I've seen a fair bit of it in the week leading up to the tournament. It's back into the work now, and enough about the travelling, and we can focus on the cricket.
Well, we want to hear about your best meal so far. What have you eaten?
Surprisingly, won't say this is the best meal, but surprisingly, they do a very good wood-fired pizza here in Sri Lanka. So we have been having a couple of those, not your traditional Sri Lankan cuisine, but a few curries. We had a good chicken tikka masala one time. Very similar food to what you'd expect in India, but they do an egg hopper here for breakfast, which is like a bit of a doughy pancake kind of thing with an egg in it. So certainly been enjoying a couple of those. So maybe curry was the best meal.
Excellent. Okay, well, get stuck into those egg hoppers because you're going to need your energy. It's going to be a big tournament, some really tough conditions that are quite foreign to Australia as well. So the Aussies, we're going to be touching on their potential side as well in just a little bit. But you did catch up with Josh Inglis just a day or two ago. He's the sole wicketkeeper in this squad, but that's not an issue for him. He's looking forward to the challenge. And after this short break, let's have a listen to your chat with Josh Inglis.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Unplayable Podcast, coming to you from Colombo as Australia build up to their World Cup opener against Ireland on Wednesday. My name is Jack Paynter, and I'm joined by Australian wicketkeeper Josh Inglis to preview that match. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How have you settled into Colombo?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've been here for a few days now. Sort of a bit of a stop-start beginning with the game getting rained off the other night, but really happy to be here and look forward to getting going.
A long lead into that first game against Ireland. Your last team to get going in the tournament. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't really know. I think you can make of it what you want. It's obviously nice. I think they're playing today, so we get a look at them and how they're going to line up and that sort of thing. But looking forward. We've got obviously a few days training now, so that'll be nice to get into the prep.
What do you know about Ireland? Australia played them once in the last decade, I think, so a bit of an unknown there.
Yeah, not a whole heap, but like I said, I think that's why that game, being able to watch that today, will give us a lot more info on their side.
And there's 9, I was looking at their squad today, there's 9 of those guys who played in that 11 in the 22 World Cup in Brisbane. You obviously weren't there because you had a cut hand, but there's a bit of familiarity there amongst the squad that the guys will face on Wednesday.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know a whole heap, but I think a lot of the guys, like you said, have come up against them before, so that'll be good for them.
How do you go when playing against these teams like Ireland, Zimbabwe, Oman that you'll face in Group B? Is it much preparation, or is it a bit of feel on the day, or a bit of both?
I think it's very individualised. Obviously, I think you've got to do a little bit more. Obviously, we don't play against these guys a whole heap, so personally, I just like to look through their bowlers. We get sent out a whole stat pack from the team, and we'll go through that. And I just like to have a look at their bowlers and their change-ups and that sort of thing, just so it's not a surprise on the day.
Have you played against many of them before? Paul Sterling's been around the county scene. Josh Little's been in the IPL. Have you seen much of those guys?
I think I played Little in the MLC and maybe Sterling in the 100, but other than that, yeah, not much.
Let's sort of turn to the Pakistan series. You played just the one game there, but didn't go to plan, obviously. But what do you take from it, I guess, personally and as a group coming into a big tournament?
Yeah, obviously it didn't go the way we would have liked, but I think the main thing we can take out as a batting group is how well we need to be prepared for this World Cup. I think it just shows you need to have really good plans and strong plans from ball one to get your innings going. And I think it was a great learning curve for a lot of the younger guys that played during that series, just how hard cricket is in the subcontinent.
And a few moving parts in that series as well, a few injuries, obviously, a couple of guys coming back into the squad for the tournament, and you and I think Marcus Stoinis only played the one game there. Does that disrupt the group leading into the tournament, or is it good to have these sort of few days in Colombo here to get sort of settled?
Yeah, a bit of both. Ideally, it would have been nice if it was a week further down the track so we could have the full squad together playing games as a group, but just the way the schedule is, it didn't really allow that now at that time. So I think it's the right decision. You don't want to be guys getting injured before a big World Cup. So yeah, it is what it is, really.
Let's go back a bit further, maybe 2 weeks now, Big Bash champions again, hitting the winning 6. How cool was that for yourself? Yeah,
it was really nice, yeah. I love my time with the Scorchers. We've had obviously a lot of success over the years, and when Optus is rocking like that, it's a pretty special place to play. And yeah, to be out there right at the end and hit the winning runs was a really special feeling.
There's a few, I don't know if it was nerves maybe, but a couple of wickets lost towards the end there. And then I guess that 6 that you hit, were you letting Cooper Connolly have another chance at getting the side over the line, or were you definitely trying to launch that one?
No, I was definitely launching that one, yeah. I've seen so many highlights of past games, the winning runs being hit, and I thought this is my chance, so I'll take it on. Yeah, as you said, we lost a few wickets towards the end. I think it rained and it was skidding on beautifully, and then all of a sudden it just started nipping around a bit. I think Starkey and Saba and Dwarsh bowled really well. So yeah, I took my opportunity.
How do you guys keep doing it? I guess you've been there 9 years now. I think this was part of your third title.
Third, yeah.
I think, and a bit of a fresh-looking group this year. Obviously, a lot of names still there, but bowling attack was quite different. Like, how do you guys sort of keep doing and keep winning?
I think it's just we've had pretty much the same group for the whole time, and as you know, most guys are in WA playing, so we all know each other so well. I think more importantly, we all know our roles really well within that side, and adding the overseas here and there just helps sprinkling a bit of that stardust around. We've seen how well Finn went this year. I think Paynter was unbelievable when he came in, but yeah, as you said, we've lost a couple of experienced bowlers in AJ and Dorf, and I thought the way Marley in particular and Coop, the way they grew into the tournament with their bowling really helped us towards the back end.
You mentioned Finn. Coach Adam Voges has given you a lot of credit for that recruitment a couple of years ago. Are you taking credit for that?
Yeah, I'll be requesting extra prize money as well for that one. I obviously played with Finn in the MLC and saw how destructive he could be, and that's sort of a spot that we've battled with over the years. It's hard batting at Optus in the power play because it does do a little bit, and I just thought he was someone that could really take ownership and take on those power play overs, and yeah, he played beautifully this year.
Did you see, how did you see his tournament this year? Obviously, took him a little bit to get the pace of it and feel of the Australian wickets last season, but then this season was just another level, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I think he's spoken about it. I think he got injured after and sort of had a bit of time to reflect and work on his game, and he definitely came back a better cricketer. I think he played some really smart cricket at times as well this year. He looks, because he hits such a long ball, it looks like he just tries to hit every ball for 6, but there is thought behind it, and he got us off to a good start more often than not.
The celebrations, was Mitch Marsh leading the way there, was he?
Yeah,
How was that?
unsurprisingly, Bias led the charge. He's very good at that.
Talk us through the tradition, I guess. I was chatting to him the other day and he mentioned it, always going to Fremantle for WA teams, the Scorchers always sort of head down there, and that's part of your celebration. Talk us through that and how, your knowledge of the history of that.
Yeah, so I actually said to one of the boys on the day, I live quite far from Freo, so I never really go there, and the only time I really go there is when we celebrate titles, so I love Fremantle. Holds a special place in my heart. But no, I think it's great, the tradition. As you said, we always start at, I think it's the Norfolk, the first pub that we always go to, and sort of work our way through Freo. And yeah, I don't know when it started, but ever since sort of I've been in the side, and our first Shield win a few years back, we've done the same thing.
I think you were saying it goes back to that, I guess, golden generation of when you had Gilly, Tom Moody, Brennan Julian playing for WA back in the 90s, and I think that's when they sort of started going down there, and it's carried on ever since.
Yeah,
so
it's brilliant. It's a great day.
Let's fast forward again, I guess, to playing in Sri Lanka. You've obviously got good memories here from 100 on Test debut, you made your ODI debut here, I think, as well, and then you played against Sri Lanka in Sydney for your T20 debut. So I guess talk us through your connection with Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it's quite strange how it sort of panned out. Yeah, it's a beautiful country. I love coming here. It's a great place to tour, and they're a very good cricket side. So you put all that together, it's pretty nice. So yeah, really, really happy to be back here.
Does it suit your style of play, do you think, playing here? Obviously, playing a spin is a strength of yours?
Yeah, I think so. It's something I enjoy about batting is face and spin bowling, and yeah, looking at ways to score runs really on difficult wickets at times. So yeah, thoroughly enjoy coming back here and playing.
What's your understanding of why pitches here tend to favour spin, or not favour, just spin friendly, I guess, and how that much is that talked about in the group, especially leading into a tournament such as the World Cup? Yeah,
we speak about it a lot. I think obviously the wickets are a lot slower here, and it's not necessarily the ball that always spins big that gets you out or can be challenging. It's the inconsistency of it. Quite often it's the ball that skids on and always feels like it gathers pace off the wicket. So yeah, as I spoke about before, I think you've just got to be really well planned and prepared to where your scoring areas are and how you are going to score runs out here.
I did a piece during the Big Bash about the role of spin at Optus Stadium, which may surprise me at the time, but I guess surprised some others. Have you found that spin's playing a bigger role in what WA conditions where it's typically renowned for being pace friendly, especially in sort of the T20 format? Yeah,
I think the wickets were a touch different this year, or have been for a couple of years maybe. They haven't been that sort of glassy sheen that we used to see at the Wacker. Obviously you've got the bounce and the good pace in the wicket, so if there is spin as well, that makes it doubly difficult. But yeah, as you said, we're seeing a lot more spin at Optus this year, and the ball actually spinning there as well.
You've been to a few World Cups now. This is your first one heading in as the starting wicketkeeper. You obviously replaced Alex Carey in the 2023 ODI World Cup, but how are you feeling sort of heading in knowing that you're going to be in that starting 11 to come the start of the tournament?
Yeah, it's nice. I think my fourth T20 World Cup and sort of my first time I'm probably going to play. So yeah, a little bit different this time, but it's nice to sort of have that experience under my belt as well, having been to a few before. Yeah.
Not having a backup keeper in this squad, does that make you nervous or a vote of confidence?
Bit of both. No, it's good. I mean, like, it is what it is. I think quite often you don't need it. As I've seen, I've been to 3 before and not played a part. So you only need it when you need it, really. So yeah, I'll be throwing Maxi some balls this Arvo just to make sure he's tip top, ready to go.
Well, you weren't there yesterday at training, but we saw him doing some catching drills.
That wouldn't have been great viewing, surely.
How do you rate his keeping skills?
I haven't seen much of it. He when the game was rained off the other night, he had the gloves on in the changing rooms, and TD was throwing balls. So the boredom got to him there. But no, I haven't seen him. Obviously, he's highly skilled. His hand-eye is ridiculous, so he'll probably be a freak at that too.
Were they his gloves?
Yeah, they're his gloves. They're his gloves. So he's come prepared. Yeah. He's obviously been worded up
and talks up his keeping skills. Obviously, doesn't he?
I haven't spoke to him about it, but I think he said he'll be fine back to the stumps. It's up to the stumps where he might struggle a bit.
Your role in this side, we've seen you bat 3 predominantly through last year with all those T20 series in the Caribbean, against India as well. Is that sort of 3, 4 role with potentially stopping with Greeny there? Do you see that for yourself this tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we've fully landed on where I'll be just yet, but yeah, I imagine it'll be sort of that 3-4 position. Yeah, trying to keep the momentum going after the top 2 go nuts, hopefully.
I just want to ask you about the record fastest century for Australia. You had it, TD got it from you. Are you looking to get that back?
Absolutely. But anytime you're going up against TD in terms of scoring rates and strike rates, it's probably a bit of a push, so we'll see how we go.
Just before we let you go, Josh, but we'll finish off with a few predictions for the tournament. Highest Oz total, have you got a prediction? We've obviously seen high scoring totals in the West Indies last year. Australia shift to a lot of aggressive batting. You got a tip for us of what we can see this tournament?
Well, yeah, hopefully it's got a 2 in front of it. I think in Sri Lanka, I don't think the totals are going to be that high, but maybe if we go through to that Super 8 stage in India, I think that's where you'll see the bigger totals. Generally better batting wickets and smaller grounds.
Best catch?
You probably got to go Maxi, don't you? He pulls some freakish ones off, so he's definitely got plenty in the locker.
Didn't want to nominate yourself for that one?
Oh, well, yeah.
Most sixes for Australia in the tournament?
I think Tim David. I think you've got to back him in what he's done over the last few years in T20 cricket's ridiculous, so yeah, you'd be a brave man to go against him.
Do you find yourself competing with him in the nets?
No, definitely not. There's no competition there.
Who will Australia play in the final? Who do you fancy for that?
I think you got to go India. I think they're very strong. They've got most bases covered, and like in their home conditions as well. I think they'll be looking to be favourites.
What did you learn? I guess good to sort of test yourselves out against them. That series against them in Australia last, I think it was November. Was that a good opportunity to sort of see where you're at to the top ranked side?
Yeah, I think it's nice playing them not so long ago as well. If we do come up against them later in the tournament, we sort of have that knowledge of what we came up against and know what we'll be facing really. So they're always a good team no matter where you play them, and they'll be difficult to beat at home.
Well, Josh, appreciate your time. Go well in the tournament and all the best.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Okay, so Josh Inglis, he's gone pretty safe there, Jack. Tim David for the most sixes, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I'm surprised he didn't want to nominate himself for either the sixes or the catches, but, maybe he's just being modest, right?
Well, we have seen him hit a few big hits as well. He finished the BBL season with a 6 into the stands at Optus, and that's no mean feat either. So, did play it pretty safe, but you can't really go wrong with Tim David for the most sixes, can you? And Glenn Maxwell for the best catch. Played it safe with India as well. Clearly the number 1 ranked side heading into this tournament. They've dominated, they won the last World Cup and they've dominated the 2 years since. And they're the co-hosts, so pretty safe bet there. But we'll wait and see. They got pushed in their first game by the USA, so there's a few upsets being flirted with at the moment. We haven't seen one yet, but surely we're due in the next few games.
I must admit, coming into this tournament, I wasn't super excited for the prospect, but now that the games have started and we've actually got some results, I'm really getting drawn in by the spectacle of another T20 World Cup and having 3 matches per day at this part of the tournament. There's just so much content to be across. Netherlands, Italy and Nepal, some great, as you say, almost stories there, but there's a lot to be across at this early point of the tournament.
It's a great time zone too for Australian audiences. You've got the 4:30 PM game, which is 10 a.m. local time. Then you roll into a prime time sort of 8:30 slot, and then if you're really keen, you can stay up overnight and watch a full. What quick maths here be 12, 13, 14 hours of straight cricket, wouldn't it? So that's definitely one for the cricket lovers, that one.
Now, Mitch Marsh spoke to reporters on Tuesday, Jack, Australian captain. Did he give any insights on how the Aussies are going to shape up for their first match or any other details on the team?
He didn't confirm the team or anything like that, but he did say that Nathan Ellis was available, having missed the Pakistan tour and then the Big Bash finals with that little hamstring niggle. He did say that his Hurricanes teammate, Tim David, wouldn't play in the first match, so his hamstring is a bit more serious than Nathan Ellis's. So he's coming back from a potential, a higher strain there. So he's been out since Boxing Day. So they're going to ease him back into the tournament. So that opens the door for Matt Renshaw to come into the 11 and play that middle order role that Tim David would have, which is potentially explains why they went that way in dropping Matt Short from the squad. They could potentially see that Renshaw would have a role to play in the first few games, and it looks to be the case if they indeed go that way with him.
So you're telling me that those videos that I saw of Tim David on the cricket.com.au social channels of him smashing sixes onto the roof of the training ground, that's him with a bit of a still dodgy hammy?
Well, I can't say it's dodgy because he's been doing a lot of running. Yesterday we saw him, he did about 10 runs between the wickets in his full kit. I'm just saying that I don't think they want to risk it this early in the tournament given the severity of the injury that he's coming back from. So I think they're going to play it quite cautious with him, knowing that potentially the pitches here aren't as high scoring as what you'll see in India later in the tournament, which is in turn bringing those lesser associate nations into the contest because we're seeing 160 odd versus 150 clashes. So I think potentially they don't want to put too much burden on that hamstring with bringing him back too early in the tournament because they play the first 2 games in 3 days and then travel to Kandy, which is a 4-hour road trip by bus, and they've got another 2 games there in 3 days. So it's a heavy start to the tournament for Australia, even though they haven't played yet. But I think they'll look to take it easy with Tim David because he's arguably their most important player given the success he's had in India in this tournament. So.
Yeah, and you did a bit of a deep dive into the stats as well, didn't you? I mean, I've watched a couple of those Kolkata games, and the scoring has been really high, but then we might get lower scores in Sri Lanka. Is that going to be the trend for this tournament?
Yeah, it is. I was crunching the numbers, and I'll give you a little look at what I was able to find out before the piece goes live on cricket.com.au. But in India, the 5 venues that they're using for this tournament, which is Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, and Kolkata, the average score batting first is 186, but in Sri Lanka, it's only 148, and that's in T20 internationals. And then if you look at T20 World Cups, it's even lower. So there is quite a drop there, and Sri Lanka's sort of around the mark of that 150 and you're in the game type of situation.
Right, so we shouldn't get worried if we see Australia posting low scores and winning because that is just along with the trend. And when they get to India for the second stage, hopefully all things going to plan, then the scores should increase, right?
Yeah, that's right. And you've also got the pressure of a World Cup. If you lose one game, you're potentially on the cusp of being eliminated. So even though Australia has batted so aggressively in the last World Cup cycle, there's coming into a World Cup, if they get in a little bit of trouble, it's kind of like, well, if we lose this game, we might be at risk of going out of the tournament. So you might see that approach reined in a little bit. I did ask Mitch Marsh about it, and he said, that's been their style, and they'll look to keep doing that. But you just don't know in the heat of a World Cup match, do you?
Well, you don't, but you can be pretty sure that Mitch Marsh is going to stick to his word and back himself in those sort of situations. So it'll be fun to watch for sure. The Aussies have had a few training sessions. Jack in Colombo, what have you sort of picked up, and any sort of pointers that you've been able to extricate from those training sessions so far?
Lots of spin. All of the net bowlers that I've seen so far have been spinners. A lot of left arm finger spinners as well. So they've definitely been practicing that to sort of face that style of bowling. They've obviously got their own left arm spinners in the squad in Matt Kuhneman and Cooper Connolly. So that's been a big, I guess, a focus for them. A lot of running sessions. Obviously, Nathan Ellis is coming back from that hamstring injury, and so is Tim David. So they've been testing that out. One of the things I did pick up on, and the cricket nuffs will love this, but with their fielding practice, they've had this little foamy type baseball that they've been using to practice their catching out on the boundaries, because the fielding coach, Andre Borovic, was telling me that they curve in the air, so that replicates, the powerful batters, how they hit down on the ball and put backspin on it, and it actually rises as it goes towards the boundary. So they're able to replicate that with a slightly softer ball for those boundary catches.
Wow. And so how does this foamy ball travel through the air? Does it float a bit, or does it travel like a cricket ball would?
It floats through the air, so it's got baseball stitching on it, and it floats through the air. It's quite heavy, like it's quite dense. So he's able to give it a good whack with a cricket bat. But yeah, it just sort of hovers in the air, and you can imagine if you're playing a sort of backspin tennis backhand, you can imagine how that sort of rises up as it goes over the net. That's what they're trying to replicate with these catching practice, I guess, because you see the powerful batters hit that kind of shot that moves through the air away from the fielder. So really nuffy sort of areas there, but I found it very interesting when I picked up one of these balls and threw it back to him the other day.
Yeah, I love it. A bit more innovation from the Aussies. That's good to see. Spin, as you touched on, is going to be a massive factor in this tournament. Adam Zampa will, of course, be front and centre. How else do you see spin coming into the equation for this Aussie side? I mean, they've got Matt Kuhneman in the squad. They've got Cooper Connolly. They've, of course, got Glenn Maxwell there. So how do you think it's going to play out, and especially in Sri Lanka, where maybe we're expecting pitches to turn a bit more than in India?
It seems like they'll line up with the two spinners, whether that's Connolly or Kuhneman, not quite sure yet. I've got a feeling Kuhneman might get the nod for this first game, but they've also got obviously Glenn Maxwell in the side, so you can expect 12 overs of spin and then 2 quicks and potentially Stoinis and Cameron Green to fill in the rest of the pace overs. So it definitely looks like spin's going to play a huge role in that first Group B match, which Australia is in, that group, which is at this ground as well that Australia will play Ireland at. We saw 25 of the 40 overs bowled. We saw 25 of the 40 overs bowled by spinners, which was 13 in the Ireland bowling innings and then 12 in the Sri Lankan bowling innings. So already you can see the role that spin is playing, particularly in the Sri Lanka matches.
Yeah, okay. And any other squad updates from the Aussies? We know that we've had Hazelwood and Cummins initially named and now come out. They've been replaced. Well, actually, only one of them has been replaced. Can you explain what's happened there?
Yeah, so we haven't had a replacement name for Hazelwood yet. So technically still in the Australian squad, even though the Aussies have said he's not going to be taking part in the tournament. That just gives them a little bit of flexibility as to who they name as that replacement, because perhaps they're not quite sure what type of player they're going to need, because under ICC tournament guidelines, once you replace a player, they can't come back into the squad. So say, for instance, Australia had a 15-man squad and then Josh Inglis as the sole wicketkeeper got injured. If they replaced Inglis with a wicketkeeper in the squad, Inglis then couldn't come back into the squad for a short-term injury, so it effectively leaves them without their best keeper, even if he was only going to miss a couple of games. So it just gives them that flexibility to decide a bit later on what type of player they might need. They might be able to get through this Sri Lanka leg where they play their first 4 matches and decide, we need another fast bowler or we need another batter for our Super 8 matches in India. So yeah, it just gives them that little bit of flexibility to call on a player that they might not need right now, but they might need later in the tournament. So, of course, they've also got Sean Abbott here. So if they need a fast bowler quickly, they can also put him straight into the squad.
Right. So Ben Dorshus was Pat Cummins' replacement, and Josh Hazelwood hasn't been replaced, but Sean Abbott is there as a travelling reserve just in case. Have I got that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, he's travelling with the group, but he's the 16th player who's not officially part of the squad. But, he's on standby if they need someone quickly.
And Josh Inglis was very diplomatic about Glenn Maxwell's keeping ability in that chat that we just heard. George Bailey did nominate Maxwell as the backup keeper in case of disaster in this tournament. You've watched a bit of Maxi with the gloves at a few of those training sessions. What have you picked up, and do you think he's got what it takes?
I'm not sure, having not seen it in a game. I'm sure, like, based on his ability, he could do anything he puts his mind to. George Bailey has sort of said that he was a wicketkeeper in his younger days, but I don't think he's done it for maybe 10 odd years. But we did see him practicing his wicketkeeping, mostly up to the stumps, which is what Josh Inglis said would be maybe his little bit of a dicey area. But yeah, it certainly seems that way, that if Inglis, hurts a finger or something on the morning of a match, that Maxwell would be the one to take the gloves if Inglis couldn't play. So certainly seems like they're looking at that option.
That would be incredible scenes, wouldn't it? And then, of course, that would impact Australia's bowling attack, and everything would be out of whack. So let's hope for the best for Josh Inglis's hands and fingers throughout this tournament. Jack, Ireland, what can we expect from the Irish? Australia don't play this team very much, but they're very much a team that always seems to hold their own, especially at these sort of tournaments.
They do, yeah. Well, if you look at their matchup the other day against Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka are the 8th ranked T20 side and Ireland are the 11th. So they're actually not that far apart in terms of, their world ranking and just, their general ability. So I think you can expect Ireland to push Australia, especially in these conditions where the scores are lower. Spin plays a big part. So they've got, as I said, they bowled 13 overs of spin. They've got bowlers who are experienced in these conditions. The lower ranked nations generally play a lot more on dicier pitches that are slow and low and don't offer as much pace as what Australia would usually play on. So this brings them back into the contest a lot more. They've got Matthew Humphries, who took the new ball the other day, and then they've got a lot of bowling all-rounders in there as well. So Curtis Camphor didn't bowl against Sri Lanka, but he can bowl. He bats in the middle order. Those fast bowling all-rounders who can complement the spinners that they've got in Humphries, George Dockrell and Delaney. So, they've got a lot of bowling options there in that side, so they can pick and choose who they want to throw the ball to, depending on how they're going against Australia's powerful batting lineup.
Dockrell, he's one of my favourites. I remember playing with him on a cricket captain game back in 2012 or something like that. He's been around the county scene a long, long time, and he's been a great servant of Irish cricket as well. So watch out for left armer George Dockrell. Also a big fan of Harry Tector. I haven't seen a lot of him live, but his scores across his fledgling career so far have been pretty impressive, and he got 40 in that match against Sri Lanka. So, of course, he's coming in behind Paul Sterling, who is one of the greats, ODI-wise and also Irish-wise, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been around forever. He's had a lot of success on the county circuit. He's getting gigs across the world now too in those franchise competitions, just playing the same way as he always has. It's interesting that Josh Little didn't get a game in their first match. He's someone who's played in the IPL, left armour, bowls some good pace. So if he's not getting a game in their side, they've definitely got a lot of depth in their squad. And a lot of stability too. So 9 of the squad actually played in the last match they did. They played against Australia, which was back in the 2022 World Cup in Brisbane. So
it's amazing.
But that was the only time they've played Australia in the last decade. So Australia is not really that familiar with playing against Ireland. So it could be a bit of testing out each other in the first few overs of tomorrow's match.
Yeah, amazing. They've been able to keep that squad together so well since 4 years ago. I remember, Josh Little had a very good tournament.
And they beat England that tournament as well, didn't they?
I think they did.
At the MCG, was it? That rain-affected match. So, they've got they've had a history of upsetting the big nations, haven't they? So it's just a matter of time in this tournament, you'd suspect, and hopefully for Australia, it's not them that's on the end of it.
Now, the T20 World Cup, formerly known as the World T20, has been a tournament that's brought us lots of highs, lots of lows, and lots of memorable moments, Jack. And on this episode, I wanted to put out the question to both you and our listeners. What are the best individual T20 World Cup performances that we've seen, going all the way back to 2007. If you want to get in your answers, jump onto the cricket.com.au Instagram page. There's a story there where you can drop your answers. Or also send us an email at podcasts@cricket.com.au. We'll read out the best answers next time we catch up with Jack. And so who immediately comes to mind, Jack, when we think about the best performances in this tournament?
Well, the first one for me was obviously Yuvraj Singh's 6 sixes. Way back in the first World Cup. It's hard to go past that one.
Of course. With the bowler being, of course.
It was Stuart Broad, wasn't it? 6 sixes. So very young Stuart Broad, I might add. He's come a long way since then. I mean, some of the other ones are, from an Australian perspective, you've got Mike Hussey in 2010 against Pakistan, single-handedly getting Australia over the line in a semi-final. A couple of years later, Carlos Brathwaite, who hit 4 sixes in the last over to win the World Cup final. So those are two that stand out. I guess another one for me from more recently, I guess, is the title that Australia won. A lot of people talk about Mitch Marsh's 77 in the final, but I actually look back to that semi-final where Marcus Stoinis and Matthew Wade got Australia over the line. They were dead and buried. I remember watching that live thinking, it's not necessarily something you would see Australia ever do, be able to pull off a run chase where they must have needed 20 runs per over in the last 3 or something like that, and they were able to pull it off. So that's a strong memory for me. And then the last one I thought of, Josh, I'm just rolling through them here for you, so feel free to jump in whenever you like. The last one is that catch of Suryakumar Yadav in the 2004 final in Barbados. Yeah. So South Africa needed 16 off 6. David Miller was set, and you would have backed them in had that ball gone over the rope for 6. But like the catches that we see Glenn Maxwell do, and so many players nowadays, he was able to jump over the line while flicking it back in and complete the catch and win India the title.
Now, there was a bit of controversy around that catch too, wasn't there? Because the padded rope had moved from where it was initially placed, and it looked like his foot was actually standing where that rope used to be. Should it have been given out, Jack, or was the right call made in the end?
Well, you can only play the field as it lies, can't you? I don't think you would have necessarily been looking at where the shadow of the rope used to be. So, I guess right call was made at the time, and India, the World Cup champions. So
fair play. Well, talking about great catches, it takes me back to the Glenn Phillips catch against Australia at the SCG in 2022. Superman, he was diving. It felt like he was in the air for ages. Pulled off a full stretcher. Hard to go past that one. And on the Brathwaite, remember the name innings, which of course we all remember. As you said, he hit 4 sixes to win the game off Ben Stokes and finished with 34 not out off 10 balls. But I was just looking at the scorecard. I didn't realise he actually took 3 for 23 in the first innings. So he's done it with ball and bat. Of course, the wickets, they're forgotten because the sixes were just so impressive. But yeah, that's one thing that really stood out to me, and one thing I totally forgot about.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like Shahid Afridi back in 2009 as well. He hit 54 off 34 against South Africa in that semi-final, but then he also took 2 wickets as well. So, talk about wickets being forgotten. It's kind of like, all-round performances like that are so crucial in T20 games, especially when you got the likes of Australia and Ireland stacking their team with all-rounders. So.
And in terms of the best, well, let's give the bowlers some love. I had a look through the best individual performances, and Rengana Herath took 5 wickets for 3 runs in 3.5 overs against New Zealand in 2014. That must have been a very low, slow turning chattergram wicket there in Bangladesh.
Can't say I remember that one, but I remember that World Cup for the fact that Australia picked Brad Hodge and Brad Hogg, didn't they?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
a couple of veterans. Squad, and they were both over 40 at the time too. That was when Australia was really still figuring out this format, and they just didn't have too much of a lead in as they do these days. But that's what I remember from that tournament.
So get in your nominations for the best T20 World Cup performances, podcasts at cricket.com.au if you want to email it in, or jump onto the Instagram page of cricket.com.au. Jack, thank you for the update. Great work with Josh Inglis, and good luck for the first few matches of this tournament. We'll catch up with you as it progresses.
Thanks, Josh. Chat to you again soon.